Hi everybody, it's Christopher and welcome to Life's Not Over, It Just Looks Different on YouTube. In today's video, I thought I'd talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that's cats. If you saw the video I did on guide dogs and white canes, I mentioned in there that I am a cat lover. I am a cat person through and through. That's not to say that I haven't met dogs that I like, but my preference is to have cats, and I currently have 3, but I've had cats most of my adult life. And today I thought I'd share a few stories about some of those. The first pair that I had in my late teens when I first moved out on my own were a couple of young ladies called Tiny and Squirt. Tiny and Squirt were absolutely adorable. Squirt was a long-haired cat, whereas Tiny was pretty much the exact opposite. She was very, very short-haired to the point where her coat was almost like a velvet type feel. And both beautiful young ladies. Unfortunately, I did have to give them up for adoption when my apartment building sort of changed its rules and said no more cats in the building, but at least I was able to adopt them out to somebody who was able to take both of them. I don't have pictures of Tiny and Squirt in the digital realm. I do have them in a photo album somewhere, and I wanted to scan them in, but I'm moving right now, and I'm currently in a sea of boxes. So those pictures are in there somewhere, but I don't know where. I'll talk about moving in a future video. After Tiny and Squirt, I adopted a cat named PJ. A friend of mine had him and couldn't look after him anymore. So she asked me if I would take him in, which I did. And PJ was awesome. He was very vocal, and he was a real chatterbox, but he was also a very loving and fun cat. And a couple of my favorite PJ stories. Once, when I first moved into this apartment that I was in, I had a mirror propped up against a wall. It was going to go up on that wall eventually, but it was propped up on the floor, propped up against that wall for now. And I wish I had video of this or a picture of this, but I don't. When he walked by that mirror, he absolutely freaked out that there was another cat in the room, and he hissed and battled and looked all over for this cat, and it was hilarious to watch. The best thing I've seen that absolutely replicates what happened with my cat is if you've ever seen the video for Simon's cat called Mirror Mirror. It is absolutely hilarious, and when I watched it, I thought that it was my cat. I'm going to put a link to the Simon's cat video in the description for this one, so you can check out that. It's absolutely hilarious, and when I watched it, I thought, wow, that's my cat. That was exactly his behavior. While I had PJ, I thought he needed a roommate, so got another cat called Squeak, or Squeaker. Squeak was an adorable boy, very handsome boy, as you can see in these pictures. And the thing with him was, well, the reason he got his name, first of all, was because even though he was a full-grown adult cat, he had a kitten-like mew, and he almost squeaked when he meowed. So he got the name Squeaker. He was a very tall boy. He had very long legs, so when he stood on all fours, he was very tall. And when he wanted to reach up to me, which he often did, he would reach up and he would actually touch my waist with his front paws. He was a very tall boy. He was absolutely adorable. He used to get up on the back of the couch and he would give neck massages. Luckily, he actually was smart enough to keep his claws in, so he would just kind of knead on you, but without claws, and that was awesome. And he also liked to give headbutts. I've never had a cat do that. It was so awesome. You could walk up to him and you could actually give him a headbutt, and he would give one right back. Which was really kind of cool. Most cats, when you get close to their face, they'll back away, but this guy was different. He was a character all unto his own. At the same time that I had Squeaker, I also had I adopted another young lady called Princess, and Princess was absolutely adorable. She too was a lap cat. She liked to either get in your lap or she would get up on the couch and fall asleep behind your head and just purr away. You could almost put your head back and use her like a pillow. She didn't always dig that, but you could do it occasionally. Squeak and Princess, unfortunately, they didn't always get along. In fact, in this picture of Princess, where she's looking rather annoyed, she was probably looking at her roommate when I took this picture. As you can see here, they were on the tree. They did occasionally get close to one another, but this was sort of a rare photo that they would actually just sort of do their own thing close to each other without bickering. Princess unfortunately passed away in 2010. I remember that day. I was at work when I got the call that she had passed away, and I actually had a really caring and awesome boss at that time, because I got off the phone after getting the call, went and told my manager my cat just died, and my manager said, you know what, you need to go home. You need to go and take care of this. So he sent me home with pay. Nice to have employers that get it and understand that cats are part of the family too, and we mourn them as well. After that, Squeak was a lone cat for a while. He was still with me when we moved to Calgary, and oh wow, I flew with him on an airplane from Toronto to Calgary, and I had to take him through security. So they asked me to take him out of his carrier so they could scan his carrier. They put the carrier through the scanner, and I put Squeak on my shoulder, and I took him through security. And he was so scared, like fur was literally flying off of him as we passed through the security gate. But once we both cleared security and his carrier made it too, put him back in the carrier, and he was good for the rest of the trip. He was actually very quiet, and yeah, brought him to Calgary with me. But about 6 weeks after he got to Calgary, he unfortunately passed away from heart failure. So he was a very lovable boy. He was with me for 16 years, and I still miss him. When you lose a cat, it's hard sometimes to want to get another one, but eventually I sort of got to a point where I thought, yeah, okay, I'm ready. I can get another one. And my cousin sent me a picture of a cat, and she said, you know, I know that you've had cats before, and I wanted to know if you wanted another one. So she sent me a picture of this guy, and right from the first picture that I saw of him, I thought, there's something different about this guy. I gotta go check him out. And sure enough, what's different about him is he is a polydactyl. He has an extra toe on every foot, and he can almost use it like a thumb. He's actually grabbed like knobs of cupboards and pulled them open. So he's a very interesting and talented boy. He's also very lovable, very, very funny, antics all of his own, and he likes to get up on, like, even as I sit on the couch, he'll come up and he'll either get in my lap or he'll even like come right up on my chest, and he'll just purr, and I just sit there and pet him, and he stares at me and just purr away. So Bigfoot has been with me now for, let's see, I got him in 2012, so he's been with me for quite a while. And then in 2019, my fiance and I got another cat. We thought that Bigfoot could use a roommate, so we got another cat named Lucy. Lucy is a very pretty girl. She's, interestingly, she is almost the exact same coloring as Bigfoot. So even though they are like 8 years apart in age, they look like littermates, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And if you're looking at them like in this picture where they're just looking close to the window, you can't actually tell them apart because they look so similar. Now, when you get to see them, when you get to see their faces are of course different. And Lucy has a little milk mustache. She's also got smaller white boots, and she has a little bit less of white fur on her chest, whereas Bigfoot has a much bigger white furry spot on his chest. They don't really get along very well, unfortunately. They bicker a lot, and that just, it's cats. I mean, sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. But we thought that maybe Lucy could use another roommate. Well, that they could both use another roommate, but we thought maybe if we get another cat, Lucy will have somebody to play with who won't terrorize her quite as much. So in August of 2020, we got another kitten. He was about 10 weeks old when we got him. Beautiful black cat named Jaguar. He is a hilarious boy. He's the antics of a kitten are just, they're so funny. Just, you can't it's a laugh a minute when you watch him, and he loves to play and run and chase. And when we first got him, kind of what we had hoped for, Lucy basically mothered him. So they would like lay down together and she would lick him, and basically she was his mom. But then as Jaguar has grown up, he's almost a year old now. Now there's 2 boys and 1 girl, and Lucy's feeling a little bit left out. But we, as her people, we make sure that she gets lots of love, because she's a beautiful girl. She loves to purr. She loves the love. And so I'm constantly petting her, snuggling up to her, and, you know, just letting her know that she is absolutely an appreciated member of the family, even though the boys are kind of a pain in the butt to her and they kind of make her life miserable. Before I go, I do have one eyesight related story I want to share as far as cat ownership. One morning I got up and there was some light. It was early morning. There was some light in the room and in the apartment, but not a lot. It was a little bit dimly lit. And as I was walking down the hall, I saw a spot on the floor, or I saw something on the floor, and I thought, uh-oh, did one of the cats cough up a hairball or something? Like, oh, what is that? And I was kind of looking closer, backing away. I don't know what it was. So I crouched down and I got really brave, and I just kind of took one finger, thinking I was about to like put my finger into something I didn't want to. But when I touched it, oh, I was very relieved when I found out that it was just a cat toy. Just a furry mouse-like cat toy that one of the cats had left in the middle of the hallway. But that's the kind of tricks that my eyesight can play on me. And so when I got down and I actually touched it with just that one finger very lightly, I was very relieved that it wasn't anything bad and it was just a cat toy. That is everything I wanted to share in today's video on my life with cats. I thank you very much for watching today. I really appreciate each and every one of you who has been watching these videos. Thank you so much for doing so, and I'd love it if you click like down below. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.